Hello, what is up everybody? This is evancarthy.com coming here today, or rather tonight, with the stock market today. This is going to be the October 2019 review for all the major markets. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about the S&P 500, the Nasdaq, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, and also the Russell 2000. So what this is going to do, this is going to cover all four of those markets using the daily time frame on the charts and also the 1 hour time frames on the charts. And what this is going to be is the way I trade with my setups. I'm going to go over where I think the market's headed, and also based upon where it's been, what it's doing, and what we're looking for here in the near term. So without any more, let's get to the charts. So here we have the S&P futures right here, and what we are looking at is the daily chart, and I'm going to zoom out here in just a second. Now this whole video, it's going to go over a post I'm working on over on my website, evancarthy.com. I don't know if I have it done tonight, definitely by tomorrow, but I want to go ahead and get this video up and going, get that done, because that's going to be in the post as well. So check that out. When I get finished, I'll have it in the link description below in this video, and it's just gonna complement this video. So anyways, so what we're looking at right here is the daily chart, and this is a setup. This is the 78.6% short right here. Let me delete that. 78.6% short, and again, daily chart. So these things can take, months, if not years, to complete, especially on a daily time frame right here. And so when price hit right here, the purple line, 78.6 down here, that initiated the trade at about 27.15.75, and then when it hit the blue box up here, that moved, that would be another entry right there, and it moves the exit up here to this purple line. So that's currently where we are. You can see price came down pretty close to hitting the purple line down there, but never quite made down to about 27.30, but never hit the 27.15.75 to end it. So we are still in this setup right now, and then the only way the exit is going to move up to the 100% Fibonacci retracement level is if the price goes all the way up here to the 261.8 Fibonacci extension level at about 36.55.75, and then it'd move up to the 100% Fibonacci extension level. But like I said in my post, which you'll see a little bit, I really don't think that's going to happen at all. I know, right? Big surprise here, going out on a limb when price is only at 29.47. I'm saying exit is going to be 27.20, but definitely be looking for. I would definitely be looking for that currently. And there's a couple things I'll show here in the hourly chart here in just a second. We'll go over here a little bit more, but I want to zoom out further for the daily chart, because you see this blue trend line starts from bottom left going up to the upper right. Until this thing gets broken, I wouldn't worry about any type of market recession or anything like that happening. As long as price stays north of that line right there, we're good to go. So the way I view it, any major dips we're having, as long as price is north on this side, to me, that is going to be great buying opportunity for it. And so even with my accounts and the 401ks, ETFs, and stuff I'm in, I'm holding on to them until I see eventually, because it'll eventually happen someday. Don't know when, don't know how, don't know why, but eventually it'll break. We'll just use this as an example. Say it breaks right here. Not saying it's going to happen on April 1st of 2021. Using this example. So when price breaks out of it, not sure how low it's going to go. Let's just say it just goes down here, closes, it keeps on going down here. Then what I'm looking for is price to retrace somewhere up back close to it and use that trend line that was formerly support, as you can see all the way back since it started in around March 2009, and use that as resistance. When it does that, that is when I'll be looking to get out of any of the long-term holdings I have. Specifically, I have a real long-term holdings with ConocoPhillips, where I just invest $50 a month for it and get out of that. I'm gonna get out of and probably all the 401ks I am, just move that over to, there's some other funds where they're not tied to the stock market, but get out of those as well. Because then after that, I do think that there will be a decline in the stock market. And based on some of the other videos I have regarding that, we'll worry about that when it gets there. But right now, as long as price stays on the north side of that, we are good to go. So here in the 1 hour chart right now, we don't have, or excuse me, no, we actually do have a setup that we're currently in right now. And let me switch over to the micro contract right here, because this was one that actually came on the 15-minute chart, but this will go well into October as well. So using the 1 hour chart, so you can see a little bit more. So this is another 78.6 setup. This is a long setup though, and the exit is here at the top of the blue box. So the hard exit is going to be around 29.73, but when my exits, when I have it, I usually have it about 29.70 for my exit. Now this is one, you can see the arrows right here. That is where I got out of it either today or last night. I can't remember what time it was. Was that October 19th at 10 o'clock? So, no, October 7th, excuse me, October 7th at 10 a.m. Yes, I think it was this morning when I got out of it right there. So I got out of that trade. The reason why I got out is because I was in, you can see down here in this bar, see that blue arrow right down there. I got in right down there, so I had a really nice gain for it. Wanted to log in those profits, and if price does retrace, if it breaks out its base down here and goes down a little bit more, I will be looking to get back in over here. And so even though it went down over here, the exits don't move anymore for it. It stays up here at about 29.70, where I'd be looking to get out of it. It's currently at 29.46, and you can see right here this trend line right here. This is one thing that is looking kind of interesting. See how price broke out of it, and now it's coming up to hit the other side of it. So will that be used as resistance, and then will we get more of a sell-off? That's one thing I'm definitely looking for. See if that's going to happen. I mean, price could continue to rise up, hit that, and then sell off more. I mean, right up that yellow line, hit the blue line, 100% Fibonacci level right there, and then sell off. So it's gonna be interesting to see, but I do expect some type of sell off. Not sure if it's going to happen, sooner rather than later. Meaning, is it going to hit this, use as resistance, sell off, or is it price going to go up all the way to the blue line, hit that, and then sell off some more? But once it does hit that blue line up there, this setup is over, and so not looking to get in. But if it does sell off before hitting that blue line and comes back in between the 261.8 and the 4.236, I need to remove that 5.236 because I was just looking at some things today with it. Then definitely comes back in here, I will be looking at getting back in as long as the setup is still valid for it. So that's the S&P 500s for October. So now let's go in and look at the Nasdaq right here. So I'm gonna start with the daily chart again real quick, and basically what we have in the daily chart right here is there weren't really any setups that I could find for it, but we do have an interesting thing going on with the two trend lines right here. You can see this bottom one going bottom left, upper right here, and then this trend line up top right here going upper left down to the bottom right. So right now our price is right here at about 774.50, right around here. Price is kind of in between, in no man's land here in the daily chart. It is bouncing off of this bottom trend line right here. So obviously when price bounces off of it, you presume price is going to continue to go up to the upper trend line up here, somewhere along this route right here. So that is why my bias is more towards the long for the Nasdaq currently here in the daily chart. So let's look at the 1 hour chart, because we are waiting on a setup right here. This one is not yet live. This is 78.6 short setup right here. What we're waiting on is, here's price right here around 7774 and 50 cents. We're waiting for price to get up, hit the purple line at around 78.23. When it does that, the exit move is going to be at the bottom of the yellow box around 76.96, 76.97. But if price continues to go up, hits the blue box, top of the blue up here at about 79.17, then the exit moves to the purple line down here, 78.23.50, and then finally, if price goes all the way up here to 86.38 without hitting either of these exits first. Say if it hits purple line but doesn't hit the red, goes up, hits blue line but doesn't hit the purple line, but price continues to skyrocket up here to 86.38, then the exit moves to the 100% Fibonacci retracement level at around 79. Can't really read that right there what that is, but we'll say it's going to be about 79.22, 79.23 just to be safe to get out of it. So that's what we're waiting on right here. There isn't a short setup that we're looking for, but based upon how price is bouncing off down here, look at that support right here on the 1 hour chart. Look at it, it's hitting that line down there that drew on the daily chart. And look at that right there. It looks like it's going to break down. Nope. Huge buyers down here, not letting that thing happen. So just another reason why I think it's going up here, at least right up here, which look how well this aligns right here at the top of that Fibonacci 100% retracement level with that trend line up here to the top. So that's what I'm expecting. I'm bullish for the Nasdaq until it hits definitely up here around 79.19. So still a little bit ways to go. Now let's go over to the Dow Jones futures. So I'll start out again here in the daily chart. Again, not a whole lot going on for the Dow Jones futures here in the daily chart. Just a couple trend lines I want to point out. One I took off, I'll put on here in just a second. And so what we have right here is this trend line right here, a flatter trend line. As long as price stays on the north side of this, we will be good. But if price does break out this blue trend line right here, then it will be interesting to see what happens if the breakdown does occur. Because one thing I want to show right here with this trend line, this yellow trend line right here, look how price broke out of it, kind of used it as, wasn't a clean break, retracing back up there and use it as resistance, but price did eventually kind of broke over it, but then kind of broke down and then broke down well out of it right there. So this trend line right there, not too valid anymore as far as using the former support as resistance, but it is interesting to know price did make one more run up, kind of created a double top up here, and actually you can see right up here, let's draw this black line right here. This has kind of been where the market makers, the big banks, institutions, ever since January of 2018, they're not letting the market, the Dow Jones, get above this level right here. We had two little false breakouts right here, trapped a bunch of people in here, ran it down real fast, trapped a bunch of people in here, ran it down real fast. So I didn't see prices getting up here again to that line. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now when it's kind of, it's right in that here again. Prices bouncing off of it right over there. So let's go down here to the hourly chart. So here's the hourly chart, and look how price is bouncing perfectly off of that made up resistance line that I put on it right there. And so we are waiting on, I'll go ahead and take that off of there because again, it's just a made up resistance level I put on there. But what we're waiting on again, and I'm not going to go over the exact setup again or call out every single numbers. You can just pause the video if you want to see the exact numbers on there. We're waiting on a 78.6% short trade setup. When price hits that purple line right there, that will be the first entry. Exit will be the red line down here. But if price goes up here, here's the blue line, then that's your next entry, and then the exits move to the purple line down there. But if price continues to rise way up here, all the way up here into about 29,241.50, then the exit moves down here to the blue line around 2709.30. That'd be your third entry. That'd be the final time you move your exit for it. If none of these other exits get hit, they do, like I just said a second ago, then the move's over and don't get in any unfulfilled entries. So right now the Dow Jones, it's definitely looking at like it's topping, as I showed you a second ago with the daily chart right here. So be interesting to see what is going to happen here in the next upcoming days to upcoming weeks, if it is truly going to break out of it right here, or is it still going to be pushing it back down when it hits up against these levels. And so then the last but not least, let's look at the Russell 2000. This one right here is going to be the mini chart for a continuous contract, and actually don't want to go over that. This is the continuous one right here, but I want to go over the micro contract for it because just today I got in a trade that, where is it over here? I got in a trade that I want to show you guys. So what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go down here to the hourly chart for it right here. So here I'm in the trade. I got out of the S&P 500 micro contract trade today and got into the Russell 2000 micro trade today. So what we have right here, we have the 78.6% long, and it's off the 15-minute chart, but I just used the hourly chart so you can see a little bit better on the screen right here. You can see we had none of these got hit, obviously. Purple line didn't come up get hit, blue line didn't come up get hit, came very close but didn't come up and hit it yet, and then just continue to go down, broke way past the 4.236, which usually is kind of the stopping level for it, but hey, it happens sometimes. You can see there was some support here for it before price finally broke on all the way back down here. And that's another reason why I usually wait until price is at least at minimum the 261.8 Fibonacci extension level in this trade. But if I'm even more patient, then waiting for the 423.6, because you can see you still would have had some drawdown to it. And again, I know this way in trading for everyone because there is some drawdown in the way I trade, but it's what works for me. It's the way I do it. So, but luckily I was fortunate this time to wait extremely long because I was in the S&P 500 trade before that, so I didn't want to get in this one, but got out of that today, got in this one because this is offering extremely great value here if when price eventually does start really taking off for it. And I just drew two, so X is going to be, you see the blue line up here, the 100% Fibonacci retracement level right there, about 1559. I got my exit at 1557 currently. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to keep it there the whole time. I'm definitely going to be monitoring this trade to where, depending on what happens, and it's looking like, hey, if I get some very nice profit, and I'm thinking that maybe perhaps a retracement could come, and then I could, you know, sell, take a nice profit, wait for the retracement, get in at a lower price, get back in at a lower price, and then, you know, ride it up again. I'll definitely do that because again, when I have a nice profit, I try to lock it in whenever I can, rather than just waiting for the full setup to complete every single time. Now, obviously, it doesn't work 100% of the time. Sometimes I get out, you know, even earlier than this one up here. But hey, it is what it is. That's another way I like to trade, is kind of like try to ride the waves. You know, get out at a high point, try and get back in low point. I don't time it perfectly every time, but it's just what I like to do. I like to make sure I lock in the profits. So I did put two trend lines on here because these seem to be two solid trend lines with what's going up right here. Excuse me. You have the this bottom one right here, which it is using pretty well as support right here. So hopefully it keeps riding this one up here until it hits this upper trend line right here. So when price comes to this kind of crossroads up over here, which looks like it's going to happen here in the very near future, it'll be interesting to see if price breaks out of it, uses it as support, and then continues to go up, or if it hits it, uses it as resistance, breaks down. Let me draw a couple arrows of what could happen. So say it hits just right up here, that uses as resistance, price comes up, breaks down here, goes up, hits that, and then continues, starts a new downtrend right there. That's one option that definitely could happen right there. Another option is price goes up from here, hits that, hits that, breaks out of it right there, comes back down, kind of hits somewhere right over here, uses that form of resistance as support, plus the other trend line we have going up, and then continues the trend line up. Now, I'm not saying obviously either of those two scenarios are guaranteed to happen, but they're just two options that could happen based upon the collision course that we are looking for up here. Obviously the second one is the one I'm hoping that will happen for it, but you know, you never know. Just try to take the best odds, the best trades you can, and monitor the trades to the best of your ability. So anyways, that is what's going on with the S&P 500, Nasdaq, Russell 2000, and also the Dow Jones. So, and you see for most of them, I'm pretty bullish on them, at least for the short to intermediate term. The Dow Jones is looking really interesting to see what's going to happen with that kind of resistance level it's at right now. But I definitely think for the Russell 2000 and also for the S&P 500, there's definitely a little bit more room to the upside, as well as for the Nasdaq as well. But it is getting very interesting for hitting some resistance levels that have pushed it down in the past. So anyways, be careful out there. If there's any other thing you want to see me go over, just let me know and I'll be glad to do so. Thanks, take care.